All right, we are live. I'm just gonna wait a couple of moments, see if anybody's popping on here. For those who don't know me, I am Dr. Erin. I've been the intern at Inspire Life for the last couple of months. I just graduated chiropractic school in December and I'm getting my diploma officially next week, which is very, very exciting. I'm from Washington State originally, just a little background. And my schooling was in South Carolina, so I've kind of been all over the place and it's nice to be back north, although it is much colder here than it is in Washington, at least on the western side where I'm from. So anyways, today I wanted to just go live and talk about top 3 reasons why your kiddo needs a chiropractor. So I did write a blog post and I will link that in the description or in the comments. It should be on the website today. So whenever that's up and running, I will post the link on there so you can read it as well. And this will just kind of be a really nice kind of auditory component to it. And to be honest, I'll share a little bit about like my own story or like some of the few things I've seen just in my time of doing chiropractic, taking care of people, being in the office. But I do want to say that that doesn't like fully capture all the sort of situations, scenarios that you might be experiencing, that people in your life might be experiencing, or maybe you might see later down the road. So to get started, chiropractic, 1, is for everybody, but 2, I really just want to focus on the kiddos. So my background, I had probably like a more traumatic birth, and hearing about like I want to say symptoms, the behaviors more so of like what I was experiencing as a child, or like seeing videos, hearing stories. I'm like, wow, I really wish I had a chiropractor. Knowing what I know now, I 100% wish that I had a chiropractor on my team day 1, even like for my mom during pregnancy. So the first thing is that like number one, birth doesn't always have to be traumatic, but it is a massive experience, 1 for mom and for the baby. Like baby's having to go through a canal, or maybe it's a C-section birth. Either way, you're going from like a very comfortable environment to now getting to navigate and learning to navigate the outside world. So what I really want to capture is the birth could have been a beautiful experience. And I really, really, really hope it was. There are also a lot of births that aren't as beautiful and might have been really traumatic on the mom, could have been really traumatic on the baby. So the most important thing is to make sure that their nervous systems are checked. Whenever something traumatic happens to a person's system, you either have the opportunity to adapt to that stressor and move forward and grow from it, or you embody it in other sort of ways and you hold on to it until you have more available energy to process it later. So for me, my birth was kind of traumatic, and the fact that I tried to come out vaginally was not working, so they went in C-section and my head was smushed. Later down the road, I was like doing a really weird like one-armed crawl, so my cross crawl movements were not good. I would like pull myself and then do this and like reach and pull, and that's not normal, nor is it efficient for my system, right? So there are certain things like that you might see later down the road because baby went through something traumatic, isn't feeling safe, doesn't know how to process through it, and other symptoms start to show up. So that leads me into number 2, for a reason why you should bring your kiddo to a chiropractor to have them checked, is the different behaviors that show up are beautiful windows into the brain. And I do want to say, no behavior is a bad behavior. So every behavior is simply showing us like, how is the brain developing? And how can we help that brain develop a little bit better? So in my case, I'm doing this weird crawl, so that's a behavior that I'm experiencing. Later down the road, while I was a baby, I was screaming and I was crying if anybody looked at me. The only time I felt safe was when someone gave me food. So like grandma, grandma figured that out immediately. She's like, Erin loves me if I'm giving her food. She does not love me if I'm looking at her or doing literally anything else because I didn't feel safe. And that's not because like the people in my life didn't make me feel safe at all. It's just my body went through a lot. And when you're in such a young state, like a primitive state, you can't really decipher like anything else around you. You just know, was I safe? Am I not? How do we move forward? So those are like just a glimpse into certain like behaviors that you could see. Later down the road, there could be, like I said, crying. There could be rage tantrums. It could be as simple as lack of balance and coordination. I was a toe walker as well. Like I was on my tippy toes all the time. And cute, right? Like, oh, she's gonna be a ballerina, but also my body, my nervous system wasn't functioning optimally. So just recognizing, like, one, if you're a parent right now, notice the things that like your kiddo's doing that you might see as like a challenge, or not common, or maybe they're developing slowly. Just note those things. And what I invite you to do, like I said, it's not a bad behavior, it's just a glimpse into how the brain is developing. But what I invite you to do is to notice, are there certain stressors or big life changes that often trigger these things? So when I say that, that can give us, as like a chiropractor, a better understanding of what is happening neurologically to cause that sort of like stress trigger. Like, is it getting into the car? Is it going to school? Is it when you like ask them to do something, so like a verbal component? What are some things that cause them to have these sort of like maybe behaviors that you don't see as common or normal at this time? So what Dr. Amy Spolstra, who is a mentor of mine, what she says is to watch and wonder. Just like have that curiosity, and not that it's a bad thing, like I said, but have the curiosity and wonder, like, what might this be saying? And then bring them to a chiropractor so we can actually dive into what's going on neurologically for them and like how can we optimize their system, and then see those beneficial changes later down the road. The third thing that I just want to touch on for why you should bring your kiddo to a chiropractor is that, like, my favorite reference is like happy home, like happy mom, happy home, right? But what if we actually looked at the entire ecosystem of a family? I know a lot of moms who are experiencing maybe a crying baby, or like kid at least is not sleeping through the entire night, so they're getting up, or maybe they're having night terrors, all sorts of things where that's interrupting the entire ecosystem of the family. So happy baby, happy family. I don't know, that's like my little spin-off because realistically, if anybody within a collective community is not doing well or needs a little extra help, it's gonna impact everybody else around them. And it's important too to recognize that and not take it for like what it is, but know that there are like people who are super excited to help you through this whole journey. And you're not doing anything wrong, parents. You're doing a wonderful job. And I just want to reiterate that. We're here as chiropractors just to help that entire ecosystem function a little bit more coherently and efficiently. So however we can help you, we're so glad to. With all of that, this is just kind of like a brief little, hey, here's my face, here's what I want to talk to you about. I'm personally like passionate about kids getting in. These sort of things are so much easier to correct when like kid is 6 months old or earlier, or even within like the first couple years of life, than when they're 30, 40, 50 years old. I'm 27 now, and I'm like connecting the dots still of, oh, those were behaviors I experienced as a child, and that's now translated into adulthood, because our bodies are so smart. You're going to experience certain things and you're gonna learn how to adapt better to it, but sometimes not the most efficiently. So that's what we're here for, is to help you guys process efficiently, have a optimal nervous system, and also make sure that kiddos are developing the best that they can, especially once you get to like kindergarten, third grade. Like, these kids are experiencing situations that they've never really had to go through before, like being in school systems, interacting differently with peers, sitting down at a table and doing math or whatever kids do in kindergarten, third grade these days. But that is so demanding to their system, and a nervous system, it can either process and adapt and like take it all in, or it gets stressed and it shuts down a little bit. So we don't want to see like the kiddos get into a shutdown state by any means. Yeah, so thank you. I will again post the link for the blog in this once it's up and ready. And if you have questions, if you have certain like specific concerns, I know I kind of talked about like my own sort of experiences like growing up. If you have certain things going on with you as an adult or with your kiddo, please reach out to us, because we would love to learn more and like see how we can help you. So again, Dr. Erin, have a lovely Friday. Oh, and happy St. Patty's Day. If you're celebrating, make sure you wear your green like I am today. I have green pants I might wear later. But yeah, have a lovely, lovely Friday and a good weekend. Bye.